In this lesson, we're going to continue to discuss styles. If you'd like to follow along, go under the File menu to Open, and in the Sample Files folder, scroll down to 0807, Formatting Objects Efficiently with Object Styles, and just click Open. Let's take a look at Object Styles. If your Object Styles panel is not open, go under your Window menu to Styles, Object Styles. Object styles are a way of formatting attributes to an object quickly and with total consistency from object to object. If you're familiar with Illustrator, it's kind of like graphic styles. It's also like a paragraph style for formatting objects instead of type. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to select one of these photos with my selection tool, and I'm going to format it, so to speak. Like, for instance, maybe I want to add a drop shadow to it. Well, if I go to my control panel, there is the default drop shadow. Let me apply that. Maybe instead of having a black stroke around the picture, I actually want it to be white. So I'm going to go to the stroke pop-up in the control panel and just click on Paper, which is white in InDesign. And I'm going to make that white border a lot thicker. How about 10 points? Let me go to my stroke panel. I want to make sure that the stroke is aligned to the inside of the picture. Well, I think I have what I want. Why don't we create an object style that will pick up the attributes that we formatted into this one selected object? All I have to do is go under the Options menu of the object style to New Object Style. I have to make sure that Apply Style to Selection is checked and also Preview. So if you're not seeing anything happen in your Object Styles panel, make sure to check Preview. And you can see that the listing has been added and it's highlighted. I'm going to call that listing Photo Frame and just click OK. Now I have the style. How does it work? It works exactly the same way as paragraph styles. I'm going to select a picture with my selection tool and click Photo Frame. Select another picture and click Photo Frame. Let me go down to the next page and select another picture and click Photo Frame. There is actually a faster way to do this. I'm going to click on a listing and drag it to the edge of one of those photos. And when I see a little hand with a plus, I'm going to let go. And it applied it to that picture without ever selecting it. So let me do this. I'm just going to click and drag to each one of these pictures, making sure to drag to the edge of the picture. Let me go to this one, and this one, and this last one. Now that I have my pictures formatted, I'm not exactly sure that I like what I did. Let me select just one of these pictures, because one of the things I'm noticing is the drop shadow is very dark, very heavy, and not very soft. And also, the white edge of the photo, I really can't see it. It's blending in with the background color, which is also white. Let me select that photo again, and I'm going to make some changes to that drop shadow. Right next to the drop shadow button, there's an FX pop-up menu. Anywhere you see FX, it has to do with effects. I'm going to click down on that button and choose drop shadow, which is already checked. I'm going to change the settings for the drop shadow. The distance in how the shadow is positioned is a bit too much. Let me click the down arrow next to distance. If nothing happens, make sure to check Preview. Also, the shadow is too dark. Let me bring down the opacity from 75% to about 50%. Maybe the size of the shadow isn't big enough. Let me just click the up arrow a couple of times to make it a much softer shadow. That seems to be looking a lot better. I'm going to click OK. And you can see the photo frame listing now has a plus mark after it. Just like paragraph styles, I could clear out the attributes that are not defined by the style, or clear out all overrides of any kind. In this case, that's not what I want to do. I actually want to redefine the style to the change that I made in just this one object. So I'm going to go under the Options menu to the fourth listing, exactly the same place that it is in paragraph styles or character styles, and I'm going to redefine the style to that one change. And as quickly as I can do that, it's been redefined in the entire document, even on the first page. The rest of the Object Styles panel is actually very similar to any other styles panel in InDesign. Under the Options menu, you can duplicate an object style or delete a style. You can get into your style options, which is much easier to just double-click on the listing. You can break the link to the style. You can load object styles from other documents. So if you're working on part of a campaign, you could use the same object styles. I could also select all unused. If I have a bunch of styles in my panel that I'm not using, I can get rid of them because it will select all of the unused ones, and then I could just click on the trash in the bottom of the panel. I can also sort by name. So it's a lot of the same kinds of commands under the Options menu that you would have in the Paragraph Styles panel or the Character Styles panel. So if you know how to use paragraph styles, you know how to use object styles, and they're just as powerful. We're going to talk more about styles in the next lesson.